Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Bloodborne How To. In this video we'll be taking down Vicar Amelia. So there's a couple of things you can do to prepare for this boss. Firstly, whatever armor you're wearing, make sure it's the one that has the highest physical damage reduction. It doesn't matter about elemental damage, the boss only does physical damage. So whatever's the highest is what you want to go for. Also, Vicar Amelia is the last boss of what's considered the early game, and like the rest of the early game bosses, she's weak to fire damage. So Molotovs, fire paper, your flame spray, you'll get a lot of mileage out of these weapons. They do good damage. Okay, so whatever weapon you're using, make sure that it's upgraded to a decent amount, minimum of +3, otherwise you're going to struggle with this boss purely because it's got such a large HP pool. And as you can see, I'm looking at the Numb and Mist here. This is pretty much a must-have for this fight. You can pick it up in the Cathedral Ward, and what it does is it prevents restoration of HP. When the boss gets to 50% HP, she gains the ability to do a heal, where she'll clasp her hands together and start healing a lot of damage very quickly. So this stops that. She starts doing it at 50% HP. So as soon as she hits 50%, if you throw one of them at her for the length of the duration of the Numb and Mist, she'll not be able to heal herself. You can also preemptively reapply it, and it leaves, like, you can see the mist coming off the boss when it's on, so you can visually tell when it's run out as well. If you don't have Numb and Mist, then it is possible to break the boss's heal by doing enough damage quickly. So a charged R2 or your pistol with Bone Marrow Ash is a good choice. If you don't manage to do enough damage quickly, she will keep healing. Right, so let's go. Now in terms of the boss's attacks, she has a huge amount of different attacks that she can do. So rather than trying to like learn all of them and how to counter them, because they're all quite like, they're very telegraphic, so you can see when they're coming, you're better off just rolling in a direction. I've found, generally speaking, that it's better not to roll towards the boss, but to the left or the right. Now there are two attacks it's worth mentioning that the boss does. One's the big leaping attack that you can see she's just done there. You can roll to the left or right to avoid this. If you roll forwards, a lot of the time you do still get clipped. And the big ground slam that she's just done there, that sends out a shockwave in front of her, so even if you think you're a safe distance away, a certain amount of the time you won't be. Now again, you can just dodge left or right to avoid that. Now in terms of attacking the boss, after all of her attacks, there's usually a window of a couple of seconds where you can get a hit or two in. So that's your time to strike. It's also worth noting that if you do manage to do enough damage to the boss quickly, then especially to her head, you'll be able to stagger her and attack her head for a free visceral attack. It's also possible to stagger her like right there, where she just collapses for a couple of seconds by doing enough damage to her limb. So that can be any of her legs or her arms. If you do enough damage to one particular limb, then it'll stagger her for a few seconds. So there's the Molotovs putting in work. So generally speaking, you only ever want to dodge left or right. I mean, you can dodge forward as well as left and right, just not purely forward or purely away from her, because the range on her attacks is big. So as you can see, she's about 50% now, and I've moved on to using the numb and mist in my quick slot. So whenever the boss goes for a heal, she'll usually jump away from you. Yeah, just like that. And there we go, chuck a numb and mist, and it stopped that heal. So now you can see that there's the mist rising off her. So that's your visual cue. When you can't see that anymore, it means your mist's worn off and you'll need to reapply it. So I'm using fire paper now because I want to try and do as much damage as quickly as possible and conserve me numb and mists. Also the extra damage is nice. As you can see, it's taken like, we've been on with this fight about 5 minutes already, and I'm only halfway done with it. See, I've chucked the Molotov there and it wasn't enough to stop her healing, so she's healed like a large amount of HP there. I should have had the numb and mist in my hotbar. See, and I've managed to stagger her there a bit so I can get a few free hits in. Unfortunately, my fire paper's run out. And I've reapplied the numb and mist there early because I don't want her to catch me off guard again with the heal. Another numb and mist just to make sure. See, so I'm getting some good damage on the head here. There are certain attacks that lend themselves to her putting her head down, so if you can time it right you can do more damage to her. Yeah, she's tried to heal there but she couldn't because the mist's still on her. And there we go, there's the kill. Yeah, so things to remember. Generally speaking, always try and dodge left or right, rather than straight towards her or backing away from her. 2 attacks to watch out for: the leaping attack, which is a problem if you're locked on, and the ground pound with the shockwave. Generally speaking, because of the size of the boss, you don't want to be locked on anyway because it can lead to awkward camera angles. And try to stay away from the back of the boss because of our tails. They get in the way of like your vision and you can't see properly, and it's easy to get hit when she does like a swipe to turn around. And yeah, lots of fire damage is the way to do it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helps. Oh, and one last thing. As you can see, I'm about to light the lamp, and the skull in the background advances the day and night cycle. So make sure you do anything you need to do in the first part of the game before you touch it. Thanks, guys.